Meowdy, Brodie, and friends, how is it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I had NixOS issues. NixOS fixes that. Curses. Watch this one, and then I want to see if I can find a video on Wu Chang. I'm very curious about the game, because I like my Souls-like games, and you will never stop me liking them. Anyway, curses.
It is believed that the most seen photo is...
I love this guy's voice already. I love this guy's voice.
This Windows XP background. And I'm convinced that the most viewed shape is the mouse cursor. In 1968, Douglas Engelbart demonstrated a groundbreaking approach to computing in what is now called the mother of all demos. The graphical user interface as we know.
Ooh. Is it the same guy? I thought he just had a similar voice. Is it the same guy? It sounds like the same person, but I don't want to say it is unless it actually is.
It now was basically invented here, as was the mouse.
We have a pointing device called a mouse.
Look at this fucking thing. It's got, I think those are typewriter keys?
A standard keyboard and a special key set we have here.
Other tracking devices had been invented, but the blurry vertical arrow
it is the same guy. Okay, okay.
on that screen was the first mouse cursor. It could
That is
change into a
wild.
cross to indicate an action.
I don't know why we call it a mouse. Sometimes I apologize. It started that way, and we never did.
The guy is like, I don't know why it's called a mouse. Some other engineer was like, hey, let's call it a mouse. You know what? I can respect that. I can respect the fact that nobody knows, and you know what? Nobody actually cares why it's called a mouse. People will talk about it as a thing, but like the guy is like, yeah, I don't know. It's just called a mouse.
They change it.
The system had a vector-based interface, so the cursor was probably not a real pixel image. Likely in reaction to that demo, at Xerox PARC, they took it to a whole new level. Their system had adopted almost all ideas of Engelbart, including the mouse.
By doing no more than operating this unique pointing device.
Oh, that is a floaty key. Look at how much it...
By doing no more than...
Oh, look at how soft that is. Oh, I don't like that. Why, like, you had clicky keys back then. Why did you make it the softest thing you can possibly find? Like, with the original demo, right? Like, where is it? Like, those are typewriter keys. Those would probably feel great to press. Here it's like...
Operating this
no, I don't, no.
unique pointing device, which we call...
no.
And the mouse pointer, or cursor, was a tilted. Rumor has it that it was chosen because it had the best visibility. And when you point at something with your right hand, it's at the same angle. And of course they had to deal with the strong limitations of a pixel grid. Sadly, I cannot confirm that these are the real reasons. In the following product Star, a vertical arrow can be seen.
Ooh.
But after that, the tilting arrow was back.
What a...
Lettish.
Ooh.
Arrow
Ooh.
can be seen.
Oh, I don't like that. Why? There's something about this which feels real wrong. Like, you could do this today, right? Like, the only point of the cursor that actually matters is the tip. But that just feels wrong to me.
But after that, the tilting arrow was back.
And Lettish, Iroquois,
and Klingon in the language group area.
It's uncanny. It
The
definitely
CEOs
is.
at Xerox did not
Apologies for
realize
the-
what the team had built.
At Team Xerox.
Steve Jobs from Apple did.
Oh my god, it's
which was
Steve
the graphical
Apple.
user interface.
He's a baby.
I thought it was the best thing I had ever seen in my life.
Okay. Xerox adopted ideas from Engelbert and Apple from Xerox. Apple improved
And
it.
then Apple got rid of Steve Jobs. He went and made the craziest fucking computer that you will ever see. And then they bought his company to bring him back in. What was the company called? I'm blanking on the name. Fuck. Next. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Next was such an important company, even though the computers were fucking insanely expensive, right? Like they didn't sell that many units. But this was one of the most important computers ever created. The first web browser, Doom and Quake were all written on a Next system. And if you look at the Next Step interface, let's see if we can find it. Next Step interface. Steve Jobs is a co-founder of Pixar. What? Known for... What? Oh, okay, sure. That's some lore I didn't know. But yeah, if you look at the Next Step interface, yes, it looks old. Yes, it looks dated. But Next Step pioneered some of the core user interface design concepts that we still have today. I'm pretty sure the idea of a minimize button came from Next Step. I'm pretty sure the idea of being able to grab the top of a window and move it came from Next Step. I could be mistaken on that, but I'm pretty sure it did. And a lot of core design, UI design concepts came from this operating system. So Apple bought them and was like, yeah, you're Steve Jobs got fired from the company. He made a company that was gonna revolutionize the tech industry, and then it was so important that Apple had to buy his company from him. And then become the fucking CEO again.
And made it more affordable. And Bill Gates from Microsoft, the company hired to write software for Apple, also saw the potential.
The way it uses graphics and the speed.
Many developers from Xerox
Oh my god, look at him.
The way
before he became a billionaire and wanted to buy up all the farmland.
it uses graphics and the speed.
Many developers from Xerox moved to either Apple or Microsoft. And now, the history of the mouse cursor. From the two biggest players, to keep it simple.
Macro
The
hard.
Apple Lisa had a stretch cursor in color mode, but let's move to 1984. The successful
Oh, the Lisa is another really important system as well from Apple. Yeah.
Macintosh. Unsurprisingly, the mouse cursor looked very similar to the one on the Xerox system. It had a bigger head and shorter tail, and now with a white outline, making it visible on a white and a black background. The next year, Microsoft released Windows,
Which they kind of had to do because
successful
because of
Macintosh. Unsurprisingly,
this. It looks weird on a LED display. On a CRT, I'm actually curious what this background looked like. I'm genuinely curious how this actually looked in person. Because every time I see it now, it throws me off real weird. Gray? It was like a fancy dither. Yeah, well, it is dithered, so that makes sense.
Surprisingly, the mouse cursor looked very similar to the one on the Xerox system. It had a bigger head.
My mouse color is cyan. Am I weird? When I play Path of Exile, I play with a cursor that is Probably... let's see.
On the Xerox system.
You know, probably like half the size of this, and it's bright pink. So, not completely weird.
It had a bigger head and shorter tail, and now with a white outline, making it visible on a white and a black background. The next year, Microsoft released Windows.
Oh my god.
It
Why does that look like the i3 Gaps logo?
also adopted the tilted arrow. But now it was inverted, white, with a black outline. Compared to the Apple cursor, it was bigger, with a longer tail. From Windows 1 to 3.1, the cursor did not change. Look at the redundant pixel here. I am not very impressed by this drawing. Apparently it was only removed in the Workstation edition of
No,
Windows
that looks
3.1.
wrong. No,
Apparently
that pixel's not
it was
redundant.
only removed in the Workstation edition of Windows 3.1.
That feels
In
weird.
Windows 95 and later 98, the shape was refined. 2 pixels shorter, and now sharp with a pixel on the tip. Moving to Windows ME in 2000, closely followed by Windows XP, the cursor grew again, being
Did it have a shadow? Or is this something he's added in post?
3 pixels taller and 1 pixel wider. And for the first time, there was a hardware-rendered shadow, adding
There was a shadow? I do not remember that. Hold up, I actually need to see this now. It has been so long since I've looked at an XP system. Windows XP cursor. Oh my god, there was. What the fuck? Okay, sure.
some flair and visibility. Meanwhile at Apple, Steve Jobs had gone and come back. Meanwhile at
System
Apple,
1, just don't
Steve
change
Jobs
it.
had gone and come back. The cursor had never changed a single pixel for 22 years. But with macOS Tiger in 2005, the cursor improved. It got a sharp tip
Okay.
and the tail pixel was removed. And on top of that, it had anti-aliasing and a shadow. Other than that, the shape and size of the cursor remained the same. Anti-aliasing might look strange, but at its actual
Yeah.
size, it makes the lines smoother.
Okay.
In 2006, Microsoft launched Windows Vista, and its cursor was changed
And they brought
quite
an
much.
anti-aliasing as well, yeah. Oh, and there's a shadow that extends into the cursor.
The arrowhead increased by another pixel, while at the sides of the head, the tip pixels were removed, giving it a slightly rounded appearance. The tail was much shorter, and they made it anti-aliased and added a subtle gradient. This was already possible in Windows XP at least at some point, but only now it was actually done. On a closer inspection, the outline is bluish, but even stranger.
This has been a thing for a long time. What you often see done, and this is the case with like Libid Wader as well. People will blue shift colors, and that makes it look more modern. I don't know like the logic behind it, the science behind it, but this is a very common trend. It'll be like a very subtle blue, but it's like I don't know exactly what the goal is, but it's a very common thing to see.
The outline is not opaque, and the transparency differs.
Oh,
Why is this? Was it on purpose? To compensate for the shadow? I don't know.
interesting.
Windows 7 had the same cursor. Back to Apple. In 2012, Apple introduced its first computer with a high-density display.
Yes, it is a Retina display.
Fucking Retina. I love that they managed to. I love Apple marketing. It's like, hey, you know that thing you already have? We're gonna call it something fancy.
1 pixel was now 4 pixels. it required new drawings of the cursor. The shape of the cursor was no longer bound to visible pixels. But the shape of the Apple cursor did not change and probably never will again. Maybe they'll remove the shadow at some point. Around the same time, Windows 8 was introduced, and in 2015, Windows 10. The shape remained the same, and the outline still had transparency. But the gradient was removed, and the shadow was turned off by default.
Okay.
Which brings
the gradient's removed, but they added some shading to the corners here. Or they left the shading in the corners.
us to the point where I decided to design my own cursor. I've done that before in the late 90s for fun.
Sure.
But this time, I was simply annoyed. I used Windows for work, and a while back got my first high-density 4K display, meaning a scaled interface. For
Good luck
this,
with that one.
Windows cursor files contain several sizes. And the problem with the scaled Windows cursor is that the outline remains 1 pixel, visually half the thickness. It doesn't rhyme and makes the cursor hard to see on a light background. And the shape is just off. In my opinion, a terrible design. Also, the hand and other cursors suffer from similar problems.
Right.
So I changed those too.
I know how I feel about the loading. I feel like that's a bit extra.
More on that later. First, how do you change the cursor at all in Windows 10? Well, that's something I had to figure out too. I typed cursor to end up in an outrageously spaced tablet-style environment with text cursor.
Animators afspellen in Windows. Windows Achtergrund. We're given. Meldingen we're given. Gedurnd. I don't know what this is
Be
saying.
sure to resize the window if there is no menu on the left. I clicked on mouse. Once there, I
Mouse.
could only change the mouse cursor size or make it black or negative. Then something incredible happened. Closely watch the cursor. Yes, you see that right. The cursor is replaced with an aliased 2-bit version. But changing it back is even more spectacular. Apparently, the designers of the tablet environment were not aware of the existence of the Windows default cursor and the ability to change it. Luckily, I am. So I closed the window and typed mouse in Dutch to see if I got
Dutch.
something else. I did. Again, I got mouse options, but all
I don't know what any of this says. It's been a long time since I used Windows. I got no idea. Like, I know this is the mouse, and I assume this might be mouse speed. I don't know what the fuck the rest of this
different. So there are 2 mouse options.
Keyboard typing. What a language. What a fucking language.
In Windows with the same name. Anyway, depending on the size of the window,
I'm guessing that
either
is
below
mouse
in large
options.
text or on the right in small text is an unnecessary title with a link below extra mouse options. Jumping out of the tablet-style environments in a window that for some
Oh
reason
man, what was this? This is 6 years ago? Yeah, Windows was still in a weird state 6 years ago.
always appears on the left top, I could finally change back to the Windows default cursor. Sorry. The easiest way is type themes and then click mouse cursor.
What an awful fucking operating system at the time. Windows 11 still does... Of course it still does this. Why wouldn't it still do this?
Oh, Microsoft, what are you doing? When I started to design my high DPI cursor, I tried a different angle of the arrow.
Ew.
But this seemed impossible to get used to. Basically, any other shape was super weird. So I quickly decided that only people who haven't worked with
There was something real weird about that. I don't know what it is. That throws me way off. Like, you could get used to this if this was the first way you'd used a computer, but seeing that now, it just looks broken.
Impossible to get used to. Basically, any other shape was super weird.
That is at least inoffensive. It's weird, but it's inoffensive.
So I quickly decided that only people who haven't worked with a mouse before could maybe prefer a different shape, as they haven't seen a cursor before. So the tilted arrow it was. I made the arrowhead even bigger in proportion, and the tail shorter and slightly wider. To make it look even more modern, I rounded the tail end, something that's not really visible at the 100% scale. The design is vector-based, so no pixels, but drawn by previewing the pixels in the high DPI scale. And the final result was done by redrawing pixels, making it pixel perfect. I then used the same vector for the other supported sizes. I hope that you agree that the 100% size also looks better than the Windows default.
Better than the Windows... yeah, better than the Windows default, I will agree. Yeah.
I also made one in black, and it looks like that I actually prefer to work with the black cursor. Time will tell.
I've been using Linux for so long that I didn't even notice. Yeah, that it didn't even click with me that it was different. Yeah, I'm just so used to it. I don't know. I use Windows so long, use Mac for so long, use Linux so long. It doesn't bother me. I'm happy with either one. Black is nice though.
It looks like that I actually prefer to...
Especially if you're a light theme user, I can understand why you'd prefer black. That makes a lot of sense. My cursor was yellow, based.
Time will tell.
Based.
Then the hand cursor. The iconic hand was first seen in Mac Paint. Later, a pointing hand was introduced in HyperCard.
You use cards that contain graphics and text and buttons.
Fish!
That idea was adopted for the internet and became the unofficial standard, just like the arrow. This Windows 10 hand just looks wrong. My hand design actually started as a drawing on paper.
Yeah.
Then made the vector drawing and aligned it to pixels. I didn't even consider a different shape because this would only cause confusion. And of course the waiting icon, or throbber. That
Yes, just so we're clear. Yes, that is where did my throbber go? Where did it go? Oi, I opened the fucking page. Where's my throbber? Show me my throbber. Yes. That's not a joke. That is what it's actually called. I don't know why, but that is what it is called.
2 was an inspirationless low frame rate blue circle, much less fancy than the Windows 7 one.
Ooh!
Almost every waiting or activity icon these days is something spinning around. Perhaps because a timepiece may emphasize the waiting too much.
Sure.
And a complex shape is not in fashion.
No, that's so cool.
I'd like to reintroduce the hourglass, first seen on the Xerox system. I tried monochrome like the other cursors, but that was boring. So I did the opposite and used all colors of the rainbow instead. This way, it was still color neutral, but not boring.
I do think this is too extra.
Now it was an abstract magical hourglass, something to look at while waiting.
This is way too extra.
I hope. But while designing that, I suddenly realized Apple had done that already.
They did.
And then found
I do miss this. That was really cool.
out that this beach ball was actually designed in Next Step all the way back in 1990. Wow.
Yup. Again, Next Step was revolutionary.
Originally, it resembled a spinning magneto-optical disc.
Sure,
Apple
yes,
did not
whatever
steal
that is.
it, as Next was acquired by Apple in 1997, including Steve Jobs.
Yep. Yep.
I also changed the I-beam, or text selection cursor. The Windows 10 high DPI version looks like blown up pixels. Apart from designing and trying different sizes, I found out that by using black and white instead of the usual negative, the visibility improved. And the last cursor I'll mention is Move. The Windows version looks a bit like a medieval cross. I made it look more dimensional, since nowadays it's often used to change a view rather than move a window. I'll spare you the details of the rest, but I've also changed all other supported Windows cursors. I say supported because some internet cursors are not supported in Windows 10. Like the magnifying glass, which is used quite often on websites. In these cases, you're bound to the cursors included in the software. If you want to see the Windows 1 cursor from 1985, at the moment this is still possible as both Chrome and Firefox in Windows use this design for copy and alias. My design and animations were done in Photoshop, and the cursor files were made in Real World Cursor Editor.
Okay.
Making this video was unplanned, and actually took more time than making the cursors. So I really hope you enjoyed it.
This
it
was
gets more
cool.
than 20 views, and of course that you also prefer my cursor design. The links to my cursors are in the video description. I had the cursors embedded in theme files, but because of an ancient Windows bug, the cursors are gone after a restart. But I managed to make some installer scripts. And that wraps it up. Douglas, take it away.
And I thank all the rest of you very much for coming to the dedication ceremonies.
That is really cool. You sent me a link to the cursors. Send you guys the video link here. Feel free to go check out the channel. And here are the cursors set up to be used on the Linux. They do look really good. As I said, I do think the hourglass is a little bit extra. Oh, there's a monochrome version. There's a strokeless version. Okay. Oh, that's cursed. Oh, that's that's fucking cursed. I don't like. Why did he make this? No, no, that's so wrong. Oh, what the fuck is that? For left-handed people. I don't. No, No, lefties are not using this. No. Do you, like, every time you use a computer with a fucking right-handed mouse, do you just swap to the left-handed theme? Like, do you always, like, no, that's wrong. No, if someone wants to use it, hey, that's cool. You're something else, though. You never gave them the choice? Yeah, most people who are left-handed, though, are still right-handed with a mouse. Like, there's very few people, like, I don't know any left-handed people that use a mouse right-handed. It's like the one thing that they are ambidextrous with. Yes, there are left-handed mice and people do buy them, but it's like a hyper niche, right? Because most people, when they're taught how to use a computer, the cursor's going to be on the right-hand side, right? So even if you are left-handed, the context you learn it is going to be right-handed. Unless you have left-handed parents who also have a left-handed system, right? If you... Maybe with a... Actually, you know what? Hold up. A lot of people are going to be using... Their first computer is going to be a laptop. You know what, actually? If your first computer is a laptop and you use a trackpad, You actually, you know what? I can see this. Hold up. I can definitely see this. If you grew up with a mouse, no. If you grew up with a laptop, I can definitely see how this would happen. Open this videos tab. You'll also find the strange filters video. Ah. Oh, okay. It is the same channel. Okay. Okay. I'll be back in just a second.